Hi, everyone. Welcome to People Watch, the official podcast of the People Management Association of the Philippines.
Here, there are no motherhood statements, no hiding behind obsolete theories and adages, and no time to beat around the bush.
Just real talk with real people. I'm Jovenir, and I'm hosting this show with, of course, Miss Joan Chung.
Hi, Jove. I'm really excited for today's show.
Yes. That means we're going to have an all English banter because we have someone from, well, you will introduce him, Miss Joan, right?
Yeah. And we're going to talk about happiness today and celebrating milestones.
Yes.
So,
And he calls
yeah.
it the new abnormal. So we'll find out. It's quite interesting. The new abnormal. Maybe he's talking about me, but the new me in 2024.
You're the old abnormal.
Oh, the old abnormal, Scott. Okay. Miss Joan?
All right. So let me introduce Scott Friedman, our guest today. As one of only 40 global speaking fellows in the world, he is a former president of the National Speakers Association, where he was awarded the 2013 Cavell Award. And this is presented annually to the NSA member whose accomplishments over the years have reflected outstanding respect, service, honor, and admiration in the association and the speaking profession. He talks a lot, that's around 50 times a year, about employee innovation and engagement, customer experience, and how to create a happier, healthier workplace. And he is also an author of 4 books. So I guess we'll be talking more about this later. Let us all welcome the Chief Celebration Officer, Scott Friedman. Hi, Scott.
Hi,
Welcome
Scott.
to the show.
Hi, Joan. Hi, Jovenir. Great to
Hi,
be with
welcome.
you.
Yes, it's ours. The honor is ours, Scott. You're always all over the whole world, and speaking, motivating, inspiring people, and making them laugh along the way. So yeah, here we are. Thank you for accepting our invite.
My pleasure.
Okay, so first question, and this is all about the fact that for the past 2 to 3 years, at the height of the pandemic, there was hardly anything to celebrate about, but still, I've tracked we've seen you've done virtual talks and still pursued that kind of level of happiness despite everything, and of course celebrating quite a lot of stuff. How do you do it despite the grim prospects, everything that's happening around us?
Well, it's only grim if that's the focus, really. I mean, I'm a firm believer that things happen the best for the people that make the best out of the things that happen. So it's really your intention or your focus. I remember during when the pandemic first started and I had to leave Asia, I went back to the United States, and that first week I was thinking, okay, we need to have some fun here. We need to continue with the intention of celebration and what is there to celebrate. So my housemate and we did a little research on our neighbors and found out what kind of pizza toppings they like, and then we rang the doorbells with their favorite pizza. We ordered about 10 of them for the neighbors close to us, and then we were like the pizza, not the opposite of the pizza bandit. So we would just leave the pizzas on. We ring the doorbell and then leave pizzas on the front steps. So it's really, it really comes down to the stories you tell yourself about whatever circumstances you're in. If you look at the past and the current circumstances through the eyes of fear and resentment, and you look into, why me, or why am I in these circumstances, then that shows up as fear, resentment, and anger in your future. If you live and you look at life through the eyes of gratitude, then that shows up as hope and faith in your future. So even during the toughest times, if you come back to gratitude, that really can help you through really any tense times, because there's always something to be grateful for.
Wow.
Yeah, and what I see here is a lot of selflessness. It's more about giving. It's kind of like overflowing inside you, that you have no choice but to give and to give.
I like that. Thank you. I'm one of those fortunate individuals that gets my joy from bringing joy to others, and that's why I started the foundation. Together We Can Change the World. I believe if God gives you resources, then it's our responsibility to share those resources with others. And so I think the quickest way to cheer up is to cheer somebody else up.
Wow.
Mhm.
Feels like a Sunday chat, Ms. Joan, right? It's like, it's if Scott's going to set up establish a religion, would probably be one of his followers.
There we go. I'm already up to 2.
Yeah, you have 2. Oh, Mark is the 3rd, by the way. Mark is the 3rd.
Okay.
So reflecting on it and applying it in the workplace, how do we create and sustain this kind of mindset, this celebration mindset in the workplace?
So I need to tell you a little about the research that we did. The last 2 books I've written, one is Celebrate Lessons Learned from the World's Most Admired Organizations. And the book before that is, the book after that, I'm sorry, is a celebration a day, 365 ways to a happier, healthier workplace. And then in the books, we defined celebration as acknowledging all that is good, the good work that you do, the people that you do it with, the people that you do it for. It's when your to-do list becomes your done list. It's acknowledging the little and the big milestones along the way. So it really is just an attitude. It's a philosophy about life. It's the lens through which we see our world. So celebration doesn't necessarily have to be any kind of big parties. It's really just an acknowledgement of that we do want to, as I like to say, whenever we hit the finish lines. You hear a lot about deadlines, and I always like to say, gosh, deadline, it sounds like somebody has to die in order to accomplish it. Yeah, we finish right on time on Tuesday, but in the process, Kurt and Carla are dead. It's a heavy price to pay for success. So I like to focus on finish lines, and finish lines is, whatever the task may be, it just reminds us whenever we get there that we have something to celebrate. We have something to acknowledge.
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, so basically, in the research we did, 3 things really stood out. One is gratitude, and gratitude is, how do we model appreciation? Or how do we model gratitude? How do we appreciate others for their good work? And the next is play, and play is simply living positively in the present moment. It's being able to let go of that anger, resentment, or anything in the past that didn't work. Mindfulness truly is being here now. So how can we be in the state of flow? How can we be positively in that present moment? And then the one that I think I love the most, just because it's so fun, is the last one, is surprise. And surprise is the element of the unexpected. The reason celebration fails in most organizations today is because it becomes institutionalized. It's it's stale. It gets stale. It's something we've done forever. We need to catch people doing something right, and then reward them with what's highest on their joy list, or something that they would really appreciate. So if you look at those 3 words, gratitude, play, and surprise, you take the first 3 letters of the first letter of each word. What do we come up with? GPS. So really the focus of the 2 books is, how do we keep our GPS turned on during the toughest circumstances, like a COVID or any time that we have challenges in life. And obviously we all have challenges. And in the Philippines, you guys seem like you get a few more challenges thrown at you than many countries. So how do you keep the GPS turned on? So I like to give some kind of mantra to remind us to keep the GPS turned on. So the universal sign for play is the old hang loose. In Hawaiian, we call this shaka. And shaka means chill out, relax. I'll take care of you, you take care of me. Live life with a little bit more gratitude. Live positively in the present moment. Honor people with what's highest on their joy list. So that represents if we can keep our GPS turned on, that represents what we need to bring to the workplace. How do we keep it sustainable is to back it up with rituals, truly have intention that we want to take care of our employees. Richard Branson says that when he looks at all of the success he's created in the Virgin brand, he says, first we take care of our employees, then we take care of our customers, and then we take care of our shareholders. So if we can do it in that order, if we can always take care of our employees first, happy employees create happy customers. So it's creating that culture of trust where there is authenticity, there's transparency, and then we follow it up with rituals that remind us that it's okay to be happy and have some fun at work.
Wow.
That was a mouthful, huh?
Well, it's well, listening to you, it's like we get to remember how grateful we are. You're right about the Philippines. More than our share of misfortunes, challenges, mostly man-made, by the way. Yeah, mostly man-made. Well, when you talk about, organizations, Scott, why is it so important to give people their voices and allow them to speak their truths?
If you look at the statistics from many years ago till today, the reason people leave organizations is not to find more money, even though that's a part of it. But they leave managers, they leave their boss because they feel they are not heard. They're not being listened to for whatever reason. They don't get along. I think I love this little anecdote from way back to 1997 when Leif Johansson took over he became the CEO of the Volvo Group. And at the time for this global company, the official language was English. So when he took over the Volvo Group, what do you think he changed the language? He changed it from English to, there's prizes here. Yeah, there's
the $2 prize.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jovenir knows my little ritual of giving away $2 bills. No, it's a hard one. He changed it from English to bad English. And you're
Okay.
like, I see Joan's face like, what? See, see, what he realized is that the reason people don't speak up in organizations is not so much of a cultural issue, even though that is an issue, especially in the Philippines, but it's still more of a language issue. If people don't feel in a multicultural environment that they have a good grasp of the English language, what happens? They don't speak up. If they don't speak up, they don't have a voice. And it's so important today especially with emotional wellness being at all-time lows in organizations all over the world, people need that voice. And so he just wanted people to speak up. Speak bad English. You speak bad English, eventually, hopefully, your English will get better, right? Right. So it's coming up with clever ways, and town hall meetings are wonderful. Richard Branson, as busy as he is, he gives out his home number, cell phone number to all his employees. Nobody ever calls. Well, maybe a couple of them call, but because just to have the access through town hall meetings, it's that customization today of, how do we know what our employees are going through? Scott Bemis, the publisher and president of the Denver Business Journal. I love what he does. Before they hire any employee at the Denver Business Journal, he hops into that interview and he says, if you come to work here, can we guarantee that, or can you promise that this will be the best job you've ever had? So how do they even know? But then he just wants to see what their attitude is, what their intention is of what their job looks like. And then whoever he hires for that position on that first day of work, he has a conversation and he says, okay, remember that conversation we had about this is going to be your perfect job? We're going to create it together. I'm going to be accessible to you. I'm going to be resourceful. I'm going to set you up to win. So whatever challenges and obstacles, which there are always going to be, right? We're going to do it together. So he checks in with them. And then, of course, their managers check in. PepsiCo years ago, as part of their performance appraisal, which resulted in extra pay or pay being deducted, they had to answer the question for each direct report: how can we create your perfect work-life balance here? So they really had to get into what the personal life, what life was, and how does that really play into what their day-to-day existence is going to look like from the moment they get up to the moment they go to bed. So you have to take the families into account in creating that work-life balance. And so I think that's the environment we're in today. The old hierarchy, which you see so much of still in some places in the world, is dying. It's becoming a flatter organization. The war on talent has never been greater now that we live in a global workplace and we can hire people from around the globe and work online. So we have to be more astute. We have to listen to what's really going on with our employees.
It seems that there's a lot of customization involved. And with these customization, it's a lot of hard work also for the HR team, the management. So how do you suggest we go and move forward and implement this kind of a customization with employees?
Yeah, I remember talking to if you read the book, and I'm going to make my books available for everybody after the show for free. I'm not even going to try to sell. I'm just going to give them to you. But one of my favorite examples from the Celebrate Lessons Learned from the World's Most Admired Organizations comes from Singapore, the Royal Plaza on Scots. They love to customize for their employees as well as their customers. I remember one of the examples when I was talking to at the time the marketing director, Odette Huang, who has moved back to the Philippines since then. But she, it was a 5-year anniversary of one of their employees, and they were doing a little celebration, and she said to her assistant, "Oh, Wei Ching, can you do me a favor? Can you run to my office and grab that? There's a little award there on my desk. Can you bring that back?" And she went to the office, and what she brought back was the young lady's parents, who lived in Eastern Malaysia. She hadn't seen for a couple years, and they put them up at the hotel, and she had a chance to spend a few days with her parents. So and the examples go on and on at the Royal Plaza on Scott. And I said to Odette, I said, how do you do this? I mean, who is that? All you guys do? Do you not work? Do you just sit around and figure out how you're going to please your customers and customize for your employees? And she says, it's amazing if your intention and your focus is really to take care of people. And really find out and listen. And then when these ideas, so we get in a meeting and we just, you know how creative brainstorming works. You get a guy like Jovenir in a room and you start bouncing off ideas. And the next thing you know, it's like, whoa, how did we come up with that? And it doesn't take that long. It just goes back to focus and intention.
Well, one of the problems, Scott, is the sincerity that comes with encouraging people to speak, because we, as Ms. Jones said, HR regularly does so many surveys asking for what they suggest and everything else. And the thing is, we know exactly what they want, but somehow we don't respond, and we keep asking year in and year out. So, what are your suggestions? What do you want? And so that voice gets muffled. And so there are grumblings, and because they know it's not sincere. There are so many things that we want that have not been delivered yet. So what do you suggest we do? I mean, from the employee side, that apathy towards, psychological space.
You got to fake sincerity. That's the key, really. No.
Until you make it.
Yeah.
Fake sincerity.
It's branded, Scott.
I think like Scott Bemis, the example with Scott Bemis is this is an employee engagement, same thing. I mean, it's a two-way street. You can't depend on the company to, this is how we engage employees, and we're gonna set it up for you. There's got to be buy-in. You gotta, and whether it's a team approach where everybody hopefully has a best friend at work or a confidant So if you can do a buddy system and say, okay, you talk to your buddy or getting, whatever we're going to find out what you really, what you do want. And I know, I mean, in the Philippines, especially, it's, people don't speak up. They rather just create a little conflict behind the scenes with their little private group, and that's the key, is to go into those private groups or to find out a way. Everybody will talk to somebody, so it's just whether you do however you best can pull out that information, but it really does start with the sincerity, that because so much of the reason people don't speak up all over the world is because it's just lip service. It's not for real, the sincerity. They just are going through the motions because it's part of the mission. We know we're in a tough time with an emotionally unwell, disengaged workplace these days. So there has to be there's got to be intention. It's got to come from the top, because attitude does flow downhill. If your leaders don't care, you're in big trouble. I would go work somewhere else. But then it's just getting creative about how you do it. How you really pull out that what you need from each employee.
And considering most of us in the Philippines speak good English, so we'll intentionally go for bad English. Maybe it'll work.
There you go. Downgrade those skills.
Nah, it's gonna, approaching it in a different way, because I think encouraging people to speak up is not the problem. It's responding.
When they do speak up.
Yeah, they speak up. We speak up all the time, right, Ms. Jo? I mean, we tell people, we are open to suggestions, and we throw a lot of suggestions. But then, if nothing happens, we're gonna climb up.
Yeah. And that's where trust comes in, right?
Yes. And that's something that, and Scott, the thing about Filipinos is, when we're faced with so many adversities, we just tend to laugh these things off. And that's where our humor comes up alive. And, that's where we're good at, just laughing things off.
So you're really miserable behind that humor and that smile of yours?
Yes, that's why it's a branded
wow,
fakery. Nah. I wish everybody can see us through the cameras right now, because we have beaming faces. But it's really something that organizations need to respond. It's one thing to encourage people to speak up, and then another thing to really respond, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's something to continue to work on, and
Yeah, that's why we need them to listen to you. So this podcast will hopefully spread out the word, the GPS, Scott.
Yeah, I love that, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. No.
Okay, how do we do that without them seeing us? What did you say, Scott?
Oh, that's a podcast. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's right. Here, I took a shower for this. Jeez. I had my hair styled early this morning, and now
my goodness. Yeah.
What a waste.
But look at the brighter side always, Scott, right? We don't look at the grim side all the time. So yeah, at least we were gifted with your aura this morning, fresh from.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the bright side. Yeah. So the GPS signal is if you take your thumb and your pinky, and you just move it back and forth, and it really, honestly, it can be anything. It's something that you relate to, that represents the GPS for you. So it's just a reminder that we do have control in any tense situation. That stress is not an event; it's a perception of an event.
Mm-hmm.
And again, things happen the best for the people that make the best out of the thing that happen. How do you look for the gifts? How do you look for that silver lining? There's always a gift, and I know it's easy for me to say I have a good life, and life isn't always good for many, but there's always a gift if you look for the gift, and that's where your focus is.
Yeah, that's the thing, right, Ms. Joan?
Yeah. You speak of gratitude a lot. Why is it so important in the workplace and in life?
See, I believe that the single most important determinant of your future well-being is how well we practice gratitude. And it's for the reasons we just talked about. It's, when life is tough, to look for those gifts, to be grateful. It immediately shifts the focus of poor me. Oh my God, what am I going to do? My life is falling apart. To, you know what? I've got a wonderful family. I've got two beautiful kids. I have a chance I have a roof over my head. Maybe this losing of my job is, maybe it's a blessing. Maybe now this gives me the opportunity to reinvent myself, to do something I really wanted to do. Yeah, maybe I'm going to have trouble to make ends meet for a little while, but you know what? I'm going to get through that, because this is an opportunity, because when one door closes, 2-3 other doors open up. So let's look for those open doors. Let's focus on it. So I do believe that gratitude really is the secret to turn any negative emotion into a positive emotion.
Yeah, but whenever there's a door that closes for me, I go for the window. Yes.
Yeah.
Make sure it's an accessible window, not the one
Accessible window.
Hey, a lot of times those doors are unlocked.
Exactly. Not to barge your way in. But Scott, you're based in Denver? Yeah.
Denver, Colorado.
So, Denver, Colorado. But right now, just this week for the podcast, for everybody's information, he just stopped by the Philippines, Cebu, and now he's in Manila, and he's going to Singapore. And, I have had the pleasure of being a part with, Scott's project. Together we can change the world. And I would like to express our appreciation on behalf of the Filipinos and everybody who has listened to you and your team. We appreciate you bringing world-class speakers to the country. And I think you're going to be back again very, very soon. So can you please tell us your mission and when? And who are the thought leaders coming? To be in Manila.
We'll be in. Well, thank you for mentioning together we can change the world. Our mission is to empower and educate less fortunate children and women in Southeast Asia. We have 20 causes in 5 countries. We have 5 countries in the Philippines. So we're going to. So basically, what we do is we bring thought leaders around the world. Some of the top speakers, global speakers. We bring them twice a year to Southeast Asia. We come to the Philippines once a year. And we'll be in Manila March 7th. We will be in Cebu on March 12th. The theme this year is the courageous leader. Some of the things that we're talking about today, really, it's how do you pull out these allowing people to live their true, authentic self. It's so easy to lay back and complain and not speak up. So it's having the courage to speak up. And Karen Hurt and David Dye wrote the book. First, they wrote the book Winning Well, followed it up with Courageous Cultures. And then they have a book on the questions asked for workplace conflict is their next book, which is it's due out here very, very soon. So they're going to take us through a process. So they'll be with us during this tour. And then we have a cast of other characters, some awesome speakers. But basically, we're going to go a little deeper this year. Normally we have some incredible speakers that give you so many ideas. It's like drinking from a fire hose, and then you choose how you're going to implement them in your life. This time, we're going to implement them with you. So it's really a process of how do you become a courageous leader. So very excited. So I hope to see some of you in.
Ms. Joan, you should attend March 7 in Manila. Yes, March 7 in Manila.
Yeah.
I can attest to it's really a wonderful experience. To have them in one place and within reach and quite affordable as well. And the best thing about it is, while attending this session, you are also helping others, especially those children. One of the recipients is SOS Village here in Cebu, and it's really helping orphans, right, Scott?
Yeah, SOS Children's Villages. I mean, they're their mission is amazing. I mean, they
Yes.
basically, it's kids that don't have parents, or their parents are in jail, or for whatever reason they can't take care of them. So sometimes orphans, sometimes what you may consider orphans.
And
Surrogate mother comes in. Whether there's 3 kids or 9 kids, they keep them all together. They provide housing, they provide food, they provide education, and they really, if you are lucky enough to find your way into SOS Children's Villages, you really have a leg up to have a better life, getting educated.
Yes.
So we provide a lot of assistance. We're now one of the things that we do is, our whole goal is sustainable skills. We want to make families better. We want to make communities better. So and SOS Children's Villages really does that very well. So yeah. So that will
I have another meaning for GPS, by the way, Ms. Joan. It's Gratitude and Passion by Scott.
Wow.
That's his brand. The generosity that, it's so difficult to gather these, thought leaders and then bring them all together to a country like ours, for example.
Yeah.
And then really spread the word. And that, I think that's gratitude in action.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing it to the Philippines, right?
You
for
bet.
having the Philippines as one of the beneficiaries of
Oh,
your project.
It's like a second home here to me. I love the Philippines.
Yes, and we really love to have you here, Scott. Together, we can change the world. And so, it has
Thank you
been
so
a
much.
very inspiring talk. Like listening to the Sunday feel, Miss Joan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so refreshing to start
Yes,
the
you
day with these thoughts in mind, right? Gratitude.
you don't have to be a people
You are.
manager to apply those things. You can apply that in your life. The concept of gratitude alone, that is so important, especially during these times.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Scott.
We
for
sound
your
so
time.
kind, Miss Joan, right? It's like, we sound
It's that
so...
Shifted.
It's like taking sincerity. You're so good at it.
Yes, it's like, it's like being reborn. Wow. And PMAP would like to thank you, Scott Friedman, for joining us for this
Thanks for the
special
opportunity.
episode. Yes.
Yeah. And we'd also like to thank our people behind the scenes, to our technical support. That's Mark Fernandez. Of course, our president, Miss Beth Nasol. We'd also like to thank Miss Sarah Niguas. This is People Watch. Perspectives Matter. See you on our next episode.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.